I recently began exploring the world of Leonardo AI and thought I would show you guys how to use it. The first thing you're going to do is you're just going to type in app.leonardo.ai into your browser of choice, and then you'll reach this screen, which is the Leonardo AI login screen. And then what I like to do is just use my Google account. Once you sign in, it'll actually ask you if you're whitelisted if you've never signed in before, and you'll just click yes on that login page. But if you need extra help, it's always a good idea to join the Leonardo AI Discord, which is very easy to find when you're on their login page. And it's very easy to find help in these welcome rooms or getting started rooms. You can ask questions to anybody in here and just get really good feedback. So here's the initial screen that you'll see when you first log in. Across the top, you'll see the featured models, and each of these allows you to generate different styles of images depending on which model that you use, because each has been trained on a different kind of, or a different set rather, of images. So then right below here, you'll see all of the community generated images, and so you can get really cool ideas from what's already been generated. It's very easy to copy a prompt off of something from the community page, and very easy to find new and the most liked images in each category, which is really cool. Next, you'll see in the top left corner that this is my token count. When you first log in and you're a new user, you'll have 150 tokens, and so you get 150 tokens a day to use. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that once we get down to personal image generation. And then this little question mark here will show you in how many days it resets. So mine resets in 3. Next, you'll see the community feed, and so this is just the full screen version of what you saw in that intro feed. We'll show you the upscaled versions of the images that are generated in that community feed. Next is my personal feed, so this is everything that I've been generating recently. Then you'll see where you can create new data sets to train your own models on, which is really cool, and I'll make another video about that later. This is where you'll find all of the different models that has been created by the Leonardo AI developers, and also some of the community members that have been very well liked. Next is our personal image generation window. So I'll give you a quick tour of this. Across the top, obviously, is your spot to type in a prompt. And then right here is where it tells you how many tokens it's going to cost to generate something. And that changes based off of which model you use and which selections you're making. So obviously you can see here, when I switch off prompt magic, it drops from 20 down to 12 tokens. So if you're using a little bit less processing power, it costs a little bit less to generate those images. Same thing with the number of images that you're generating. The less that you generate, the less expensive it is to generate those images. Right here, you can choose up to 8 images to generate at one time. I'll just show you what that looks like. I'll just do a quick monkey on the moon in an astronaut suit. I'll just show you that that's how many images we're generating is 8, and you can go all the way down to 1, and we'll just see what it does for each of those. So you can see I've used 32 of those tokens, and I'll show you just about how long it takes to generate your own images, depending on how many you're generating and to what dimension and style. It will change drastically how long it takes to generate those images. So while that's loading, I'll just go ahead and talk through these options over here on the left just a little bit. So photoreal is actually its own model, so the only one that can use this switch on is actually the photoreal mode. So you can see, and so you're not actually able to generate with any other model when you have that clicked on. When you switch that off, you can generate with all kinds of different models. You can choose different styles, and so I can show you a little bit more about what that looks like in another video. Now you can add elements. This is actually a more recent thing, so this allows you to add different color schemes or stylings to your image generations, which is really cool, and I'll show more about that in a later video. Here you can see Alchemy prompt magic rather, is a custom render pipeline that gives you far greater prompt adherence, and so they have a couple different versions of that. V2 is their current one, but V3 is their newest. You can see that Alchemy is their image generation pipeline, and I'll talk a little bit more in an advanced guide. So here are our public images. And this just tells you whether or not other people can see your own personal generations. So you can easily switch that on and off and make them private so that nobody's seeing them, or make them public, and that sends it to the community feed. You can change your input dimensions here. So this changes the aspect ratio, size, and number of pixels that you're generating your image with. Pretty self-explanatory. Just show what that looks like. Even changing the aspect ratio can sometimes change the types of results that you get, which is really interesting. We can talk about that more in another advanced guide. So you can also just change your aspect ratio from in here very easily, toggle it using these, and easily switch between the two. Or switch the width and height very easily. Just to talk a little bit about guidance scale, this is just telling you how strongly your prompt is weighted, and whenever alchemy is on, that's off. So if I switch that off, it'll allow me to weight how heavily my prompt goes. This little indicator is just telling me that it's probably going to be too high to really do anything useful. So I'll just scroll that back down. The next thing is tiling, and this is really cool. You can actually make something into a repeatable pattern. So that's something that you can switch on and off. And I'll show you how to use that in a later video. And then the next thing is image to image, which is very cool. You can take an existing image like this one and create similar ones using that image to image generator. And I'll show that more in a later video. Just wanted to quickly showcase. You can easily download images, delete images, copy those images to your clipboard, unzoom, which kind of takes it from a zoomed in view and zooms it back out. Pretty self-explanatory. Removing background, so this usually cuts out your main focus and then removes your background. Works pretty well. Your smooth upscale is used generally for more cartoony styled images, and then your crisp upscale is used for images like this that are a little bit more photorealistic. And so I'll show you what that looks like right here. And it does cost tokens to upscale something. So here's our upscaled image. Just took a second to download, but there it is, much more clear. Next, I just wanted to quickly show you prompt generation. So this is a really cool tool that I've not seen anywhere else, and that is you can enter a basic prompt idea, something like children's storybook character, and then we'll give you something like this: a whimsical, mischievous fairy with sparkling wings and a mischievous grin, rendered in playful cartoon style. So this is really cool. You can just take one of these very easily. Brave Adventurous Pirate Captain. I really like that one. So we're going to take that one. We're just going to copy that into here. Make sure my aspect ratio is decent. Make sure my guidance scale is decent. I'm just going to turn on alchemy and make it easy on myself. And see what we get. So this is our pirate that got generated. Pretty cool. And you can see that this was generated in private mode. I'll just switch that back on. One other thing I wanted to show is how your model choice affects your results. So I'll just show you what happens when you use the photoreal model on this generation rather than the RPG5 model. So these two are the same prompts, identical everything. The only difference is I'm using photoreal instead of RPG v5. As you can see, much more realistic results than your cartoon version, but depending on what you want, you get to pick your style. Now the next tool I want to showcase, just exit back to the main menu, head down to AI Canvas. Actually, instead of going to our AI Canvas, where you can easily upload images, I am going to go from here and edit in Canvas. And this will just take us straight to this page, automatically load in our image. We can easily upload images from our computer, from previous generations, or from the community. So I'll just show you a little bit of the AI Canvas. First thing that I'll show is how easy it is to edit images already. So one thing I do want to make sure that I show you guys is that there is a editing box, so nothing will get edited about this image except what's in this box, and you can easily change that over here. Just run through these options on this side. So first is this is the model that's going to be generating into this image. So I actually generated this with RPG v4, I believe. So I'll just switch to that, make sure I'm getting something that's similar to what we generated with. Actually, RPG v5, that's what it was. Then we can change whether or not we're in painting or out painting. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. The number of images, so that'll be like the number of images that's generated in here, basically options that you can choose from whenever you're making edits or making additions to what you've generated. So I'll just give an example of that really quick. So I'll line this up right here. We're making sure we're in out painting. So out painting is whenever you're extending an image. So we'll just say, extend this image. And see what it does, give it a lot of creative freedom. So cool, it actually generated something that looked a little bit more realistic, or something that looks a little bit more cartoony. I like this one. It's kind of a cool style and kind of a funky little down there thing. So one thing that's really cool is if something gets generated like this. So say I like this part of the image, but I don't like this. I can come down here, or even leave this locked up here. And then I'll just come over here, erase that part of the image, and then say a gaggle of pirates coming of a sandy beach. So as you can see, got some kind of funky options, kind of like this one, a little more abstract, but you can easily extend images. If we switch from out painting to in painting, then we can take this mask. What it'll do is allow us to edit anything that this mask is over. So this is the thing I'm going to change. I'm going to change this beard color here, make sure I got the whole thing covered. You can always zoom in to make it a lot easier. Just do this kind of roughly, and then we'll go ahead and say white beard. And there you go. Got a couple different options, slightly different styles of beard. Let's see which one we like the best here. That's tough. I'm liking the mustaches on this one, so we'll do that. So the last option is sketching, and I'll show that more in an advanced guide. You can change your dimensions of the box that you're out painting in very easily over here. I'll just run through the last here. Your aspect ratio, your render density, and your guidance scale. So this is big on how strongly your prompt is weighed, same as before. Now you can also use a fixed seed in a scheduler here, and I'll show you more of that in an advanced guide. Now one of the big things is if you want to save your work in this section of Leonardo AI, you need to make sure to download it. And so it'll always give you this. Changes have been made. It's just asking you if you're okay with losing this. And so I am, so I'm gonna go ahead and leave. That's it for this first tutorial. Let me know if you liked it by liking and subscribing. And I'm looking forward to putting out more good stuff for you guys.